Five, four, three.
Good evening, and welcome to the Reel McCoy. I'm your host, Meffistoe, and always with me, my hetero life mate. Oh, my feelings. How are you, sir?
I'm doing very well, my friend. This is going to be fun.
What is the Reel McCoy, you might ask? The Reel McCoy is your weekly movie podcast where we ask you to go watch a movie, you watch it, come back to us, and we break it down for you this month, the month of August, as we open it with our first podcast, is dedicated to disasters. Now, it's not about disaster movies, more like disasters in the movies, inside the actual production stuff, horrible production issues, or some other stuff going on with tragedies, people getting killed, people getting injured, people getting horrible stuff going on, and we will, of course,
sometimes there are just some people who are just outrageous assholes.
Oh yeah. And we will say hello to everyone coming over from the Salty Nerd podcast. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Keely Chow and the rest of the lurkers and all of that. Yes, it's a salty raid. Let's go. Where is it? There we go. Salty raid. Thank you. Woo, this one is a doozy. And
it is a doozy.
And I'm going to have to start with an apology, because last week when we kind of announced to people, well, go see The Island of Dr. Moreau, which is the movie we're going to discuss today, I kind of said that Heath Ledger is in it, and you were like, huh?
No.
and I was like, no, it's okay, it's fine. And we kind of ended it there. I was like, I confused Dr. Moreau's Island with Dr. Parnassus.
Yeah.
So my bad, my mistake. I'm sorry. Kind of realized midweek that I have never seen Dr. Moreau's Island. I've only seen the Dr. Parnassus movie. So, yeah, this movie was quite a treat for me this week. while I was doing something personal, which I did not like at all, which you know all about, all my feelings.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, but
So, what do we have on the docket today? Injuries, production issues, lightning strikes, hurricanes,
a suicide,
a suicide,
a director who went absolutely fucking crazy,
and vanished, only to be
return
slipping back and under costume into a movie he got fired from.
an actress who went also cuckoo nanners.
Yes. And what else? What else? What else?
Several rewrites. One person getting their facial hair set on fire with a cigarette.
Two, not only one, but two big divas. What else? It's just way too.
Well, and also the second director was a tyrant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And also Skip the Warlock. You don't have that on your notes.
Well, there's also also the actual orgies that were held by the extras.
We'll put that aside.
We're gonna get to all of that very soon, because this month is basically of us really not covering the film too much. It's gonna be about how the hell did this actually ever end up getting made?
Yes, mostly this month is all about the disaster behind the movie itself. And I will, you know what? Before we begin with the behind the scenes, which is basically the entire show,
pretty much.
I'm gonna touch upon something at the end of it, which I've heard someone sum up on a video that they made like 5 years ago. At the end of the day, the movie is not bad, not good. It was just meh at the end of the day. And it didn't make any money, which, you know, was a big letdown because New Line Cinema, with the studio that got railed over the coals, they were really close to not making it after this movie.
Yeah, but Bob Shea almost got fired over this.
Yep. Yeah.
Also, no. Oh, the warlock. You meant the shaman that Stanley had. Yeah. Okay. No. I have that.
You know, it is Skip the Warlock. I'm not even budging from that.
I know.
You can say shaman all you want.
Shaman sounds a lot better than. By the way, the first director would just skip the warlock.
No. Well, we'll just start.
And also, as an aside too, doesn't it sound like a Monty Python thing too? I'm a warlock. What is your name? They call me Skip.
Exactly. All right. We begin the show with, like I said, saying hello to everybody. Hi, everybody. Enjoy the show. This is going to be fun. And we'll start with our first segment, which is, like I said, basically the entire show, Behind the Screens.
Sound production, take 2.
All right, a fitting shot from the entire movie.
Of Brando, which also that in itself is
oh yeah,
too. Oh, it's so great.
Oh yeah. All right. Okay. I've got my notes ready, which I know you have more notes than me, but I'll fill in whenever possible. Yeah. But go ahead, all my feelings. This is your show.
So Bob Shea originally greenlit the production with Stanley, the original director, and this is Stanley's dream project. He loved the original novel, and this was his work that he wanted to craft before he actually retired as an auteur. And
wait, we're talking about Richard Stanley.
Stanley, yes.
Okay.
But Bob Shea greenlit it with a production of the budget of $8 million. That's still a decent budget in the 90s. It wasn't too bad. But then Marlon Brando was interested in the production. So it immediately, the studio wanted not only to increase the budget, but fire Stanley. because Stanley was known for pretty much, at the time, very much independent films, which were very, very, yes, Paul, you got it there. He was the director of Dust Devil, which is a film not a lot of people have seen.
I haven't seen it. Yeah.
It's a good film, actually.
Okay.
Yes, David Thewlis. We'll get to his role as
we'll get to
Edward Douglas in a second, but yeah. But so the studio wanted to fire him and replace him with Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski was actually interested in the project, but Stanley was so interested in it that he went to Brando directly, pleaded his case, and Brando sided with Stanley and said that if Stanley was not going to direct initially, that he was going to walk off the project, which would make the project DOA instantly. Yep. Now, while all of that was going on, Bruce Willis and James Woods were signed on to play Montgomery and Douglas, respectively.
Yes.
But after several major other issues, which we're going to get to, there were other rewrites that were in the process of Stanley's original draft. And it was not taken very well by a lot of the audience. One of the major critics of it were very, very hesitant to have some of the more risque, in fact, some issues that may cause issues with the MPAA about the character Aisa, played by Farid Zabalk.
Yeah, there was a lot more nudity and sex scenes, basically.
Yes, well, there was going to be a full scene where she
tap dance around it. Yeah.
Well, she basically she was actually going to be in a near full degraded state where she actually had 6 nipples like a cat and had like a full like pubic bush like that was going up from her pubic bone all the way up her chest. Yeah, but well, you know, it's crazy people. Bruce Willis dropped out due to his pending divorce to Demi Moore.
Yeah.
So he had to be in the States for that.
Wait, you skipped the Warlock.
No, we're going to get to Skip. Skip is going to come up.
No, wait. Hold the phone.
Okay.
Before going to Brando, to make sure Brando pushes the studio, to make sure Stanley's back on the project, Stanley went to Skip the Warlock, his buddy, and they made a blood ritual where Skip actually slashed his arm to make a blood pentagram and put a spell on Brando. You skipped that issue.
Yes, well, I was going to get to the point where, well, Brando finally, everybody getting on board right before production, Stanley gave all of his credit to Skip the Warlock, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, keep going.
So, due to we have one divorce kind of ruining the sort of mood of the production and having one actor bow out, Val Kilmer found out on set that he was going to be divorced.
Oh, you're skipping ahead a lot.
Well, he got papers delivered to him on set, but he found out by watching a CNN broadcast that his wife.
Yeah, that's what he claimed. He claimed that he saw it on TV first, and then he got the papers.
We're going to go all over the place, by the way. I'm not going timeline wise.
Okay. So, keep going.
So, Kilmer was a real piece of shit when it came to this movie. The first time he met with Stanley, he directly demanded 40% less shooting days because he was initially going for the role of Douglas. They recast him as Montgomery due to the fact that he couldn't be there. Like he refused. And also he forced Stanley to meet him in Japan. But
what?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an odd piece of information. Yeah. Okay. I mean, Kilmer was only cast because New Line Cinema was like, we need like heavy hitters. We got Bruce Willis dropping out. We need a heavy hitter. Why
and
not?
this was right after Batman Forever.
Batman.
And so they're like,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, Becky, we're going to get into what a piece of shit Val Kilmer is. Oh, boy, because it gets real bad.
It get real bad, yeah.
Kilmer's obstinance led to them actually doing the whole recasting, pushing James Woods completely off the project.
Yeah. Because he's like, okay, I'm going to do less work. Why don't I just play Montgomery? And then it was all New Line Cinema was like, yeah, sure, no problem.
You do what you want to. You made us a shitload of money last summer, so come on.
Exactly.
Now for a bit of a sadder note. Marlon Brando's daughter had decided to
Delete
herself, yes. One day before production began, started the first of multiple production delays, which combined with a hurricane that swept in and swept literally away the entire set.
Yep. Completely trashed the entire set.
It was actually fully built and then gone.
Yep.
Within less than 7 hours, it was deleted from permanence itself. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, as Stanley was sick of Kilmer, he attempted to bring on Rob Moreau.
Moreau,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. The guy from Northern Exposure.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Moreau was actually there. He actually signed on, saw the writing on the wall, and fought with his manager, his actor, the Screenwriters Guild, and the actual New Line Cinema to get him off the project after 3 days of shooting. Yeah. He was like, nope, no.
He begged, pleaded, and screamed that he wants off.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
He's out.
Yeah.
So Stanley, after having all of these issues, the poor man had a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And he went utterly insane. This is before he got fired via a fax.
Yeah. And to top it all off, New Line Cinema ordered an assistant to make sure Stanley gets on the plane back to LA in order for him not to sabotage the entire set because they knew he was really tight with the local crew.
Yeah, everybody, actually, almost everybody, besides the big two divas, Marlo and Kilmer, were really just they absolutely loved Stanley.
Yeah,
to the point that Faritza Bulk just ran off.
No, she didn't run off. By the way, Paul said it in the chat. They were filming in Queensland. Australia. It is pretty far away from Sydney. So Farouza Balk took a rented limousine and forced an assistant to drive her for 2,000 miles to Sydney for, I have no idea for what.
No, it was her putting her foot in the sand and standing with the artistic integrity of Stanley. That was per her quote that she had. And it was only when basically everyone with sensible, sound mind and body went, listen, young girl, you had one film before this. That's it. If you don't get back to set tomorrow, you'll never work again.
Yeah.
And guess who showed up on set?
Surprise, she's back.
Surprise!
Yeah.
So now we get to a little bit of Mr. John Frankenheimer. Oh, this poor man.
Can I interject for a little bit?
Yeah, please.
I know we're all over the place, but just to top off how cursed the production is, After Brando's daughter was buried, he went to his private island. He had a private island close to Tahiti. It's not really an island. It's called an atoll. It's basically just 5 pieces of land out in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere, yeah.
After he got to the atoll, the French government set off a nuclear detonation close off the shores of Tahiti where they used to do the test.
Yes, I did.
It's fun because oddly enough, they didn't know if Brando would show up to the set, like you mentioned, but also nuclear explosion.
It's like all I gotta say is a hell of a fireworks show. Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta come over here more often.
Yeah, and during the hurricane, Stanley was on a boat delivering animals to the set. They had a few animals that they wanted to bring in. And according to Stanley himself, one of the pumas peed on him. That's from a documentary that I saw. Why, how did that became about? I don't know, but apparently the puma got scared and the boat was going like this. And he got peed on by a puma. Just as a fun fact.
Right.
Keep going because there's a lot more.
There's a lot more. So John Frankenheimer was brought in to direct and demanded rewrites immediately.
Yeah.
Massive rewrites, cutting a lot of the basically the entire explanation of Moreau's real thought process, and more of what actually they were planning on to do with Douglas. Outside of the, you get that one scene at the very end of the film that kind of describes it, but it's not really there.
I love you, Paul.
Could be Paul. But as soon as he came on, immediately everybody hated him. Because first of all, he wasn't Stanley. He treated all of the Aboriginal actors like shit.
Yeah.
And he was just, as everyone said, he was an absolute tyrant. Faritza Balk even said, like, had I not been already precast, and some actual establishing shots had already been done with me in them, I would have been fired immediately. He hated me.
Wow. It's not like it was, and even like he scrapped all of what Stanley actually managed to film, because Stanley did manage to film a little bit of stuff without Thulis, just with Val Kilmer and Fairuza and with Ron Perlman, which
is crazy. Him in the second time in massive fucking makeup that we see in the 90s. The first one, right?
The first one was with Linda Hamilton. I can't remember the name of the movie.
Beauty and the Beast.
It is was the Beauty and the Beast?
The television series. He looked like a giant lion. Yeah.
It was a mini-series thing.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't remember if it was actually Beauty and the Beast. Never mind.
Yeah. Then it was after that he was Hellboy. So apparently he doesn't mind being like, so I'll be sitting in a chair for 8 hours while you apply makeup to my face. Okay, cool.
Maybe that's what made him crazy.
I don't know.
It's a good thing you're not on Twitter. It's a really good thing.
There's a reason why I take a break from all social media, but
so it's good for you.
Yeah. So Brando, even given his, they gave him time to mourn and grieve, obviously, and then also with all of the other production delays due to weather, showed up even a week later after his initial supposed start time.
Yeah.
Because it's Marlon Brando. What the fuck you expect? So, the wearing the white face was done so his stand-in could actually do the vast majority of the shoots. So he would have to spend less time actually on set.
Typical.
Yeah.
Typical.
He absolutely refused to learn any of his lines.
Yeah, that's not like something new.
No, so he had an earpiece in, and he had his assistant actually read them
Yeah.
while they were filming.
And there's a shot that you actually see the
See
earpiece.
his piece. Yeah, it's bad. He fought with Frankenheimer on literally every single scene that he was in. He had an issue with staging, or he had an issue with his character, or something. It was so bad. He also fell in love with our favorite little man, little Della Rosa.
Yeah.
So much so that he was forced into nearly every single scene that Brando was in. There were a lot of scenes that were actually cut that were just him and Della Rosa walking around as Magi.
Yeah, they had to cut away a lot of the he had like 3 sons, and the most docile one, right?
Maling, yeah.
Was a German actor. I can't remember his name, but he was a German actor, and a lot of his lines were cut because of those particular scenes.
Was going to get to that. They cut a lot of his lines, Azazello's actual like descent into madness, into following with Hyena.
Yeah,
and also remember the other brother that was there?
Yes.
Yeah, they just cut him out completely.
Yeah, kind of. At a certain point, you don't see him anymore, like in any scene, not even in the background, which is odd.
The fun bit about the relationship between Brando and Della Rosa, and the entire thing between Moreau and Magi, is it was the entire concept behind one of your favorite sub-characters from the Austin Powers series, Meph.
One of my favorite characters? No, it was full on, like, it was the inspiration for Mini-Me.
Mini-Me, yeah.
And not only Mini-Me, in South Park, there's the doctor in the observatory. He has a little mini guy with him that doesn't speak. Same deal.
Same deal, yep.
Same deal. There we go. I was looking for the one where they literally have a small piano on top of a big piano. And remember, I told you I was thinking about Dr. Parnassus, right? And I was completely blown. I was like, this is like Mini-Me. Does it 2 years later or 3 years later, there's the Mini-Me scene. I was like, holy shit. Okay, I got it. I'll try and find it. It's so hard to find. Never mind. Okay, keep going.
So, much awaited for Becky's sake. Kilmer never stopped being an asshole.
Oh, yeah.
Throughout the entire production. At one point in time, he burned the focus puller's face with a cigarette because he wasn't getting enough time.
While he was doing his job. Yeah, while a take is going on. So yeah, that's fun.
He and Brando hated each other so much, they would have little staging wars where they would refuse to go on set for hours at a time until the first person walked out.
They fought over who's gonna come out of his trailer
first. Oh,
no,
last. No, yeah. Well, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Last. As in, I'm going to be last on the
set. Because I'm the most important. They can't start without me. Yes.
Yeah. Brando even told Kilmer in front of other people, it's like, your paycheck does not reflect your talent in front of everybody.
Actually, Frankenheimer has, I think, one of the best lines I think I've ever heard. He said, if I was directing the life of Val Kilmer, I wouldn't cast that prick.
That too.
That's a great line. I'm sorry. That is a perfect line.
That is, in the words of the youth, that is a sick burn.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. You know what? We're half an hour in. We've got tons of stuff to go.
Oh yeah.
We'll do a stop here. We've got a full crew, so we'll try and do this segment with just the people involved because I worked tirelessly on rearranging a lot of the posters, and I've added in a lot, not a lot, but I've added in like 20 or 30 extra more because I found a great website for posters with no text on them. So we'll play our first game of the night. It is called Missing Marquee. Missing Marquee is where we take 10 posters of movies, have their text written off, and you guys out there in the chat, you're like, the chat is here for me here. But we display them, and you guys or Oh My Feelings will have to guess which movie this is. Let me do this. Let me do that. Ooh, I think I'm at the end. Don't look. Don't look. You'll probably know the first one.
Well, I mean, come on. I can already see. I can see the first one, and it's so fast. It's so easy. I mean,
it's very easy. Even if you didn't see it, as soon as I put it on, you would know what it is. Or yeah. Okay, so it's basically going to be 9. Here we go.
So I'm going to give the audience it.
It is technically.
We're going to have the delay.
Wait, but it's not technically. It is the actual first movie we ever covered on the show, back when the show didn't even have any name. It had the segments, but the segments didn't have any name, and we didn't even broadcast it live. We did broadcast it live, but it was like unlisted, and then I had to download and re-upload it as an upload.
Well, because we did do Blazing Saddles first, then this was it. But I think Blazing Saddles was gone forever.
It's the second one. It's the second one, but the show still didn't have any name. I think it was 2 dudes talking about movies or something.
No, I know what it was, and I don't want to say it because it was your idea, and it's so dumb, dude.
Oh, it's so good. You can say first.
You said it was 2 buff dudes, and I'm like,
2 buff dudes. That's right.
Seriously, Meph.
2 buff dudes. All right. This is a tough one. By the way, this entire 10 of them are a mix between like real tough ones and real easy ones.
Can you punch in?
Oh, yeah, sure. This is a newer movie. I think it's 2018, 2019. It is a thriller or a horror. It's an out there movie, but I just found the poster, so I thought it was interesting. Chat is quiet, so this one is a tough one. Yeah,
I can't recognize the actress, so I'm just.
Ooh, she's a newer actress, I think. I haven't heard of her name. Yeah, chat is stumped. Even Paul is stumped. This one is Barbarian.
Oh shit! Okay, that's a movie we're going to cover in a couple months. That's a really good movie.
Yep.
And yeah, that poster actually makes a lot of sense now.
Yep. 81 or 80. There we go. Paul has it. I'll have it. This is, of course, Excalibur.
Yep. See, this is one of Scorsese's films that I adore and you hate.
I don't like it. It was it the start of the beautiful friendship between DiCaprio and Scorsese? One of them, right?
Yes, because after this was Shutter Island.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Paul's got it. It is
Gangs
of New York.
Oh God, this movie's so bad. Oh, it's so bad.
If you
what were the Wachowskis thinking, man?
You know my opinion on the Wachowskis. About their talent and stuff. Yeah, it is. I won't put it on, but yes, Paul's got it again. This is Jupiter Ascending. Not this one. Yeah, the first one. Ah.
One's a pooch and it rhymes.
It's one of those movies where it came out the same year as Turner and Hooch. And nobody remembers this movie. It literally had the same plot line. But I think in this one, he's a detective. And in the other one, he's also a detective, but they're not. It's a different circumstance that they get the dog. Nobody knows this one, and nobody's seen this one. This is, of course, K9.
Oh my, fuck you. Fuck you. This movie's so bad.
Cannot believe I found a poster of this with no.
That's fantastic. The only thing that's good about this movie is the fact that they show that there's a downside of genie wishes. Yes, Paul, you've got it.
It is not Shazam. It's very close. It is
Kazam. Yeah.
Kazam. Yes.
Because Kazam was also in Shaq Fu.
Yeah, I know. Oh, did you play that game?
Oh yes, I did. Oh yes, I did, sir.
Oh, that game is fucking awful.
This is one of Wesley Snipes' best films, and it's really given away by the fact there's an airplane behind him.
Yeah. When was this? Was it right after New Jack City?
I think this was 93?
Or after Demolition Man?
I think this was 93 because I think this was before Demolition Man.
Well, Demolition Man was 93, but it really depends on what, like, it used to be that some stars were like, did 2 movies a year because it was with 2 different studios and they were not competing.
Yeah.
Cage did 2 in 1 year, which was basically Face Off and Con Air, right? Nobody knows this? Holy shit.
It's Passenger 51.
He's got it. Becky's got it. I don't have it on the screen because I've got an even worse delay on the other chat. This chat that I can show has a much bigger delay than the YouTube chat. But
hey,
yeah.
I'm going by see, Becky. I was going actually for Price is Right rules, so I was under. So technically, I was still kind of there. This is another film we're going to be reviewing in a couple months.
I know, and I found the poster of it.
This movie is so fucking good. You're gonna have
I've heard.
I swear, you are going to have a blast.
I've heard. Like, I was real down on this year of the last part of the year. Well, we talked about this, that the last part of the year is not like completely out of my comfort zone. So I'm like, is it going to be good? Is it not going to be good? But I've heard good things about this. Yes, Paul, this is Ready or Not, a movie that we're going to cover soon.
Paul, correct me if I'm wrong. That movie is fucking awesome.
Oh, come on, guys. This is easy.
It is very easy.
It is very easy. It's by the way, I'm not kidding here. This is real good. First of all, this movie still holds up to the test of time. It is a little bit slower to today's pace, but it's real good. And we all know the story with Marilyn Monroe. Her life was tumultuous, blah, 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 blah. She is so good in this movie. She just sells it. It is, yes, Becky, it is Some Like It Hot. And it is the last one of the series. Yeah, like I said, some are easy, some are not easy. But yeah, the Ready or Not one was real good because I was looking through the list, and this new website that I found is actual legit. It's got a lot. It's got a lot of material from like way back when. But most of the older movies on that website, you cannot find like the no text one.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I was surprised that Barbarian, that's a great poster for it now that I know the context of it, because I was like, I really couldn't I've seen Barbarian dozens of times. It's actually a really good movie that we're going to be covering in a couple months.
It's a horror film, right? Or a
Yeah.
thriller horror?
It's a thriller horror film, but it has a unique twist on it where you think it's going to go one way, then it goes,
Cool.
no,
Good.
oh no.
Okay, that's good. Because every time you said that about any movie, I was like, okay, he fucked with me. He was just fucking with me. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. I get it. I mean, some of them surprised me for the worst, like Mandy. Some of them didn't surprise me for the better. But we'll get to that when we get to that. All right. Brain reset. We're back on Disaster Alley. Let's continue.
So we talked about Brando and Kilmer's little diatribes and how they refused to show up on set. So
yeah.
the cast and crew were so bored, and they were stuck in basically a sweltering jungle for hours at a time. So what did they decide to do?
Tell us.
Get really, really, really fucked up.
Oh yeah. Not only that, they got fucked up in full costume.
Yep.
Yeah, in full costume. So I think we'll sum up with any kind of debauchery that you think is going on at a furry convention. It was done on this set because A, people were bored. P too.
Well, P did happen.
B, they had a lot of time on their hands. C, it was fucking hot because remember, kids, this is Australia. It's fucking hot. And C, they were bored. They were pissed. They were absolutely fucking pissed. They were pissed, like drinking pissed, and they were pissed, annoyed pissed. Yeah. Please continue.
This is going to happen. This is going to be a recurring theme in next week's cavalcade of fuckery that we have, where there is a really hot live set. People are bored, sitting around for hours, getting just drunk off their asses on, and some people just, massively suffering from heat stroke.
Yeah. Do you have a list of injuries? Because I do.
I don't have a list of all of the injuries.
Okay,
but I have
so
some.
let me take over. You've got some, so I'll take over. I just need to bring up my my lists. Okay. Even before Brando and Frankenheimer even showed up, Stanley's assistant got bit by a spider. Because remember, kids, this is Australia. It's got a ton of spiders.
Well, it's also like Australia, the continent that's trying to say, fuck off.
Fuck constantly. Off. Yeah. So she got bit by a spider, and because they were so in a remote area, it was starting to have necrosis on her flesh.
Oh, it was a funnel web then. Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh,
yeah. Skip the Warlock, all right, got bit by a snake and also started a bit of necrosis. It was not good. David Thewlis, who got eventually cast as Douglas, he fell off a horse. I don't remember having a horse
in the scene.
Yeah, but he fell off a horse and broke his leg. And at a weird coincidence, at the same time, one of the crew members was in Sydney at the time. His leg got broken while he was mugged. Yeah. And heat strokes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That's the small list I have.
Oh, you don't have the massive list of people suffering from massive seizures?
Seizures? No. Heat stroke?
Yes. Yeah. Well, there were apparently two of the extras were actually epileptic.
Oh, no.
They did not disclose this information.
Oh.
So during one of the scenes when they're using the pain is law, and he hits the trigger. Yeah, two of them would not stop convulsing,
Oh my god.
and they could not figure out why.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah, and it wasn't one of those easy one. No, it was a grand mal seizure. I mean, it was life threatening. It's not good, not good.
No.
Again, everything about this film is like should not have been made.
Yep.
But so now we get to after that sad bit, a little funny side story.
Oh.
Stanley, after he got fired.
Yes. And
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about his little adventure that he had out in the rainforest. shall we?
let us mention this again. He got fired by Fax, and before the assistant got him, made sure he went on the plane, he disappeared into the jungle. So take it from there. By the way, leaving Skip behind.
Yeah, of course. Well, apparently the warlock wasn't so good if he couldn't ward off a snake bite. Come on.
Exactly. He didn't have a spell against that. Okay. Keep going.
What good are you, man?
All right. So
he ran out and just ran off into the rainforest, and nobody could find him.
nope. And at some point, nobody went out to look for him.
No, they gave up. They're like, well, he's either dead or he went home.
No, we don't know, and frankly, we
don't care.
Kilmer and Brando on our hands, so okay.
Like that. So there were several extras and also cast and crew that, again, still had some kind of devotion to Stanley and his original vision of the entire project. So they actually adored working with him because he treated them, with respect, like you should do.
Yeah.
So they snuck him back on set, got him into makeup, got him in a full actual dog costume disguise, and had him in multiple scenes in the recorded film.
Yep.
And the only reason why he got caught was he was the only person, given the fact, again, remember, we talked about how goddamn hot and humid it was. So in between shots, a lot of them would take their masks off in order to breathe because it was so goddamn hot. This was the only person that would not take their costume off.
Yeah.
That's how Stanley got found out and then finally ejected from set.
Yeah. But it was, at least to my notes, it was about 3 days.
It was 3 days.
3 days before they ended the shoot.
Yeah.
So he was practically there for the whole thing. And they didn't cut him off of the movie because in some shots, they couldn't even do it.
They couldn't. Because they would have to go back. They had to bring back principal photography and bring back everybody. And it's like, nope, just forget it.
I went in and checked, and it was in there's a few scenes quite close to the end where you see the hyena talking to Douglas, basically. He's right there in the background, and you just can't blur it or do anything with it. You have to bring the entire
everybody back to reshoot it. And it's like, there's nobody coming back to do reshoots with this piece of shit. No way. I would say the other really great thing about that too is that Stanley is saying, I went through every single phase when it came to this film. I went from being director to being cast down to a dog.
Fitting.
Yeah.
Fitting. Anything else? There's a lot to do with Brando that I have that you didn't say.
There's some more about Brando, so go right ahead, buddy.
Okay. So you said about the white makeup was to make sure Brando didn't work a lot. There's a point in the movie where Dr. Moreau, Brando as Dr. Moreau, saying that he hates the heat. That wasn't acting. He hated
it. Was him saying, yeah.
And even in like his own like Caribbean island, he didn't like the heat. He always had some sort of a fan system or air conditioning system that worked 24/7 just to make sure he's cool and calm.
I was going to say, there was also just one other thing too, why it was so difficult to get Brando out of his trailer was the fact that it was one of the only pieces of tech on set that actually had air conditioning in it.
Well, technically, the only other trailer that had air conditioning was Val Kilmer's trailer.
Yeah.
Brando had multiple evenings or multiple days, not clear, that he did a pizza marathon, which means he kept getting pizzas delivered, whether they made it on set or got it delivered from somewhere, that he just kept on eating until Val Kilmer stepped out of his trailer, like we said, and then he stepped out, only to come back after a while to make sure the pizzas weren't cold. Otherwise, he would have ordered a fresh one. His entire getup was his own, like, invention.
Yes, I do have that. Yeah.
Okay, so originally he requested there's a like that triangular hat. He requested to have a dolphin head when he took that thing off, because it was something that he wanted to change in the script in order for him to be like patient zero, for him to be one of the patients that had like super intelligence or whatever that dolphins had, where he was basically experimenting on himself.
He experimented on himself first before he made his children.
Yes.
Which is
And New Line Cinema said, no, we draw the line at a dolphin head.
No. But I will have said, one thing you're probably going to mention is the ice bucket hat.
Yes.
That's something he just wore all the time.
Yes. Now, the ice bucket hat had to do a lot with him trying to be cool while actually on set and had no like white makeup on. I showed it earlier. It was an actual thing. It is a wastebasket that one of the costume designers fashioned from nothing and put it on his head. It was like, "Are you sure you want ice on your head?" And he said, "Yeah, of course."
It's too fucking hot.
Which necessitate him not moving too much in that scene, because he actually had a bowl of ice in there and he couldn't move. Otherwise, it would make a lot of slushing sound, and B, it would spill over, which they didn't want to do because, you know, they wanted to have his face not melting.
Yes, and if you notice that the fact that he does barely any scenes where he shows him actually like ambulatory at all throughout the entire film, he's mostly just sitting.
Yeah, he's mostly just sitting around. The only scene where he actually kind of moves is towards the end, where he just walks into a room where the hyena and his
the gathering, yeah. Which oddly enough, he's walking with fucking milk and cookies.
Which
like a deranged fucking Santa Claus.
Not only that, he insisted on actually having there, and he wanted to finish the entire milk and cookies before he got murdered, which Frankenheimer said, no, absolutely not. It's a little bit of a out there thing, but he's got this whole palanquin thing that he gets carried through.
Yes, yeah.
You barely see it. I had to go back and check. On the back of it, it had peacock feathers.
Yes.
They had to find a peacock and molest it in order to grab those feathers, because it was not a willing participant.
Oddly, a film that I think PETA would actually support, PETA would hate.
Completely. It was very crazy, and he insisted on having those peacock feathers in order for it to look islandy authentic. That's his words, not mine. Yeah. What else do I have on Brando? Oh yeah, when David Thewlis actually got cast, first of all, it was a rush cast, so David got a lot of money. So he would normally get X, so he got like X time 2 to appear like on that. Plus, he when all was said and done, even though he got injured and everything, Thewlis said that it was nice to have a free trip to see Australia and get paid for it. He came in 2 days after Brando was there. Brando came, he showed up. He said he sincerely wanted to work with Brando. By the way, Val Kilmer signed off.
Kilmer actually wanted to work with Brando.
Wanted to work with Brando. Yeah. Ended up being like fierce
fucking
enemies.
Hated each other, but
Thewlis, like everybody wanted to work with Brando. Even Fairuza Balk and Ron Perlman wanted to work with. Everybody wanted to work with Brando.
Well, at that point in time, like it was the dying light of Marlon Brando's career, and he is a film legend. Of course, it'd be like right now, it'd be like, oh yeah, by the way,
yeah, I want to work with Pacino. Yeah,
no, I want to work with Pacino. Well, Pacino and Jack Nicholson are going to be in this movie. Do you want to be in it? Yeah, fuck yeah.
So he wanted to work with Brando. He came in, and Brando said, I think this production is cursed. You better run. You better leave." As soon as he walked into the set, it's like, "You better leave. This production is cursed. I don't know what you're doing here."
You know what?
I told him.
Hey, maybe Skip the Warlock really was. After he got bit, he went, "No, fuck you. He's going down in the toilet."
After he got bit, you don't hear about Skip the Warlock that much. It was very sketchy. Well, he was a Stanley guy. Even Stanley's assistant had to be like rushed out. She had it was really, really bad. Like flesh necrosis to that point from a spider bite is bad. Have you seen like documentaries about like funnel web spiders?
Yeah, funnel web spiders are no joke.
Even if you have like anti-venom available on the go, it might you might get like
a massive fucking hole in your hand. Yeah.
That's about it. That's what I got.
Yeah. That pretty much wraps up what a horror show this film was.
Yeah, pretty much.
And now, everybody, can you understand how? Why?
Yeah, and to be fair,
and overall, do you actually have the notes on how long the actual full production took, besides its previous forecasted note?
Yeah,
because
they were supposed to have. I think Ron Perlman was supposed to be there 3 weeks. He ended up being there 4 months. With all the delays, with all the problems, I think they were scheduled for 8 weeks. I don't have it in my notes. I just from memory. They were scheduled for 8 weeks. Ended up extending that, which is 2 months basically. Ended up extending that by 2 weeks. But overall, they were there for 6 months. It was fucked up.
They tripled the production schedule time.
Yeah, but the actual shoot, after Frankenheimer took over, after the rewrites, after everything, the shoot itself was way less than 8
weeks. No, it was actually only 4. No, it was 5.5 weeks in total.
Yeah, something like that.
When Frankenheimer took over, it was 5.5 weeks of actual shooting. So really, had they gotten their shit together in the first place,
And to be perfectly honest, if you've listened to this show up until now, right? The movie itself is an hour 40. If you cut down the credits,
actually no. If you go from the beginning credit, if you cut out the beginning credits and the end credits, it's less than 90 minutes.
Yes, it's less than 90 minutes. There's long stretches of where you don't see Val Kilmer and you don't see Brando. It was all on David Thewlis' shoulders, basically. He was he was there for for most of the shoot,
Correct.
other than the development with the hybrid animals. By the way, as soon as I saw hybrid animals and the whole explanation of Dr. Moreau's hybrid animals, I was like going into my Alex Jones voice in my head. Oh, deep hybrid animals by the globalists. And I was like, holy shit. Was Alex right about something again?
And also, you,
Oh,
you know,
no.
all the frogs on the island,
Yeah, they were gay.
all gay, all gay.
I just, I have to be honest. Like, maybe today we'll do like a more shortened down version of the show. But I want to give my honest opinion because we're not going to go into every single scene.
We're
Definitely,
not going to go in the weeds. I'm going to talk about a couple of scenes that are fun.
Yeah, you go ahead. But I have to say this overall. The movie is not bad. It has the core of the movie has a very specific message about messing with nature. How messing with nature, even though it comes from a good spot, is sort of Dr. Moreau's whole idea is we have to go back to nature. We have to be one with nature, and
Well,
the whole being docile animals kind of a thing was a big motif, but if you really think about it, is perversing nature because most of these animals that he interbred or intermingled with humans were really like their nature is being carnivores.
that's
So-
one of the major issue there, because the antithesis of his entire argument is like, so why are you interbreeding predators into when you want to just create prey, or like you want to utilize a more docile nature to bring out a more docile form of the human spirit in order to create like the perfect like. And also too, let's not get this wrong in any way, shape, or form. Moreau's entire experiment is him attempting to play God. And this never works out whenever it's done in any form of science fiction ever.
No, and I think I haven't read H.G. Wells because the entire movie is based on an H.G. Wells
Book. It's actually a good book too, by the way.
I again did the minimal amount of research on the book itself. The whole point is you're not supposed to play God. That's the like conclusion of the book. Even though you're doing it from basically good intentions, but it could go off to again not in the best places. It starts with good intentions, but in order to control everything, you're gonna have to go into the deep dark zone, and that's not good anytime.
Well, it's reflected, like his work is very reflected in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein,
Yes.
where essentially like trying to play God in order to again further the concept of medical science, but in the end you are perverting what is natural. So in the end you end up paying for it. And in both cases they pay the ultimate price.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you had a little bit of enigma going. It's not enigma, but it's on the vein of enigma.
Oh yeah, very very new age. Yeah.
Very new.
Yeah.
This is like that sound that she's dancing to was very mid 90s kind of, you know.
I don't know. Did you ever
I always called it Burning Man music because it's like hippy dippy kind of new age kind of music.
I would say, like, did you have the I'm not sure if you had this or not in Israel, but they had late night like CD compilations for things, and one of them was like oh, this is like the new age compilation disc, and there was there was like anybody who's in the States, so they're like, now that's music used to have be a thing where it'd be like, now that's music 1, 2, like up to like.
Dude, let me tell you a story. I know it has nothing to do with this movie, but my mom had a CD selling business, She worked for a company that sold CDs for like they sold CDs to do you remember the time where the CDs were bought not only in Empire or Tower Records,
or any kind of record store, but
Empire,
they were also like
they were
Penny.
also sold at like JC Penney,
Oh yeah, yeah,
um what's the bookstore everybody goes to now?
like Barnes and Nobles or
Barnes and Noble,
Borders or
those kind of stores, but here, right? So she was one of the agents, and then she went on by herself and she sold CDs. A big portion of her business is those collections of these new age CDs, which are compilation of Enigma and other like of it.
Well, actually, was it? Are you thinking of Enigma or are you thinking of Enya?
No. Enya as well.
Yes.
Enigma is a group that did that kind of music, that
Yes.
new age kind of a deal. Never mind. The Return to Innocence. Don't you remember that song?
Yes.
That kind of a new age thing.
Why do I remember that? I don't know.
Why? Because reasons.
We grew up at a certain time at a certain place, my friend.
It was all over MTV at some point. Like you can never escape that song.
Yeah.
It was My Heart Will Go On before
No.
Will Go On.
It was Daruda's fucking Sandstorm before that. That's how big and just like just overall, like you would hear that shit in like they played that shit in clubs. Like, how the hell are you gonna dance to Enya?
We'll put that aside. But yeah, it's her dance was like a bit off in terms of it didn't fit with the rest of the movie. That's what we're gonna. That's the conclusion of.
Yes, yeah. It was.
Yeah.
It was starting to fit the theme, and it also kind of made sense why Fruits of Bulk after this kind of went off the deep end. Personally, she got very into, I would say, Aboriginal culture.
Yeah, there's a story with the Aboriginal stuff. You said that Frankenheimer treated especially the Aboriginal crew members real shitty. There was a point where he ordered one of the Aborigines to destroy a didgeridoo.
Yeah,
Which, if you know anything about Aboriginal culture,
big no.
It's not just an instrument. It's a spirit summoner, okay? And it is a big no-no to destroy one. Like a real big. It's like for us, like, oh, why don't you, as a Jewish person, destroy the Ark of the Covenant for me, please? Why don't you? So it was a big no-no, and all the Aboriginal crew members, like, especially hated him.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised that it's one of those guys who actually snuck in Stanley back.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all. They're like, hey, listen, no,
Yeah.
you respected us so much, and you actually like and really appreciated our culture. And by the way, he had some of them actually. Stanley actually had some of them in some of his early rewrites, include some of the actual local indigenous like culture into the narrative in order to make them feel more comfortable. Like Stanley was very accommodating to his cast because again, this was his dream project. But again, it was costing more money, so they went, you gotta go.
And we mentioned this whole mini-me shtick. It actually put a strain on the budget because they had to redesign costumes for the guy. What's the name of the actor? Garcia, right?
Garcia De La Rosa, yeah.
De La Rosa. He was like, okay, I guess. He was very accommodating to.
Well, yeah, because he's like, well, shit, I'm gonna get paid more, and also you're gonna put me in more scenes with fucking Marlon Brando. Yeah. Hell yeah.
He's got like 6 different pieces of costume that matched Brando, but also like they had to fashion that little piano as well, the little stool that he sat on, all of that stuff, just account for that stuff.
Oh, side note, look at the music sheet. It still makes me laugh out loud.
What about it? It makes no sense.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
Um, and there,
If you can read music, you're like, what the fuck is that?
it's really hard to put it up real close on screen, but I re-looked at it. Another thing with the costume, I didn't mention it, but I had it in my notes, is before Brando showed up, while Stanley was still around, to fuck with Stanley, Kilmer had a lot of like odd pieces like attached to his costume that were not supposed to be there. One of those things he actually carried through with Frankenheimer. There's a scene where Douglas goes to the radio station to try and radio for help or for like backup to get him off the island. And one of Moreau's sons, the docile one, the German actor one, told him that he tried a lot of times and he couldn't do it. And then Montgomery shows up with one of
I was going to be one of the scenes that I was going to talk about just real quick.
Go ahead.
Like he shows up when he shows up and goes, "Well, I don't understand what's so like. Well, work without this," and he has the piece actually on his head.
Yes, that is something he did with Stanley all the time to fuck with him. Stuff that was not supposed to be there in the scene, he just fucked with him. And when he got there,
again, Becky Kilmer, piece of shit. Ugh.
Yeah, for real. And one of those things that sort of kind of what like drove Stanley mad was the fact that when Kilmer actually arrived on set originally, right? He didn't know any of his lines. He didn't read the scripts. He didn't know what his character is all about. Just the fact that Montgomery works less than Douglas. That's about it.
Yep.
That is really about it. Ooh, all right.
Well, he was getting paid the same amount that he was going to get paid if he actually played Douglas.
Regardless. Anything else? Because I actually have nothing else prepared.
I was just going to just bring up some.
Go ahead.
Some again. You know me. I love jokes and quips, so I just have to have those little quippy lines that are in there. Initially, when Douglas is rescued by Montgomery above the ship, he's taking care of him. Are you a doctor? Well, I'm more of a vet.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
No, he's not wrong. He's not lying. But at the moment, it was like, okay, I guess. And I don't have the whatever Malaysian they were trying to speak, like the translation.
Malay,
didn't translate, and I'm pretty sure they left it untranslated.
They left it untranslated for a reason.
Yeah, because it was either gibberish or they were just fucking about.
They're fucking about that, or it's probably like, well, that, or if it would be in a more positive context, it would be them saying, you can just stay on board and we'll take you to the next port.
Yeah.
to Douglas. They're like, by the way, you don't want to go on that island. Crazy shit happens there, man.
Yeah, there's a reason why only one guy gets dropped off there and no one else from the crew.
Yeah, and why we don't get off this fucking boat whenever we drop him off. Like, we're done. The other thing is after the first time that Douglas meets Aisa, when Aisa is dancing.
Yes.
What does Montgomery say to him?
Don't remember.
Oh, so you two have met. Oh, she's beautiful. She's a pussycat.
Yeah. That's right. Kind of like sort of
wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. And at the time when he said it, it was like, okay, so she's like docile? What are you trying to say here? I thought he was like going on a double entendre, but it didn't really manifest itself. So I by the time we get
it didn't
realize.
manifest itself in this version of the script.
Well,
Yeah.
with all the fucking rewrites, you can never tell.
Well, that and also another character that you got to meet briefly twice, Assassimo, the gorilla character.
Yes.
Like, oh, you like five finger man like you. And at the end where he has a Douglas, no, Douglas, you stay with us.
Mm-hmm.
He is more prevalent in the book. He's really important.
I guessed as much, and you know what else I kind of guessed? I think that he had a lot more scenes shot
Yes.
with Douglas. I think
Yes.
so, because it seems like they started the bonding when he was first introduced, and there was a scene in between that something was there. I mean, he is in a scene in the middle of it, and like, but there is no interaction with Douglas himself, like one on
I
one.
would say the only other thing in between that would be like, for the film wise anyway, that would be like make him more of a character that Sessamon as one of the hybrids could see him as someone who's empathetic to his cause, was the fact that when not only Lo Mai but everyone else was getting shocked, he said, "Oh dear God, please stop," because he's trying to make it like he is another five finger man trying to stop the pain of all of his friends. So like you could see that kind of building a relationship
But
in a way. But
to me, like I said, to me, it felt like there was a scene missing. I don't know if it was shot. I don't know if it was rewritten. I've no idea. But it seems like there was a scene missing to connect to, sort of like tissue connect. The fact that he was so like, please don't leave at the end. There was something there missing to just connect everything together. And again, maybe it was shot, maybe it was not.
and also as a side note, no, continue your point. Hold on to the shot though. There's a point that
Okay. Keep going.
So for this, no, you can actually see the progression of his work.
Oh, in terms of if you stand them all together, yeah, because the first one barely. We're talking about the sons here. The first one barely talked, and I will like leave Me behind. Basically, he's like maybe the first guy to be manipulated and really deformed.
Yeah.
There's a shot where he's completely naked, and there's like protruding stuff out.
Well, he has a tail in the back, and one of his hand like is a full fingered like claw that's almost bigger than his entire hand. Yeah,
And then we've got the son at the back where he barely talked. Then the other one that
we have Wulai, Azazelo,
animalistic, and then the more docile son, and then of course the daughter, where she hasn't really manifested herself because she was under one of the serums that he invented to keep her sort of stable, I would say, and not progress to a full-on cat-human hybrid. Yeah, I get it.
Correct. Yeah.
I didn't think about it at the time, but yeah, it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. One of the main things with Douglas is the fact that by the time he realizes he is screwed, we'll say that, he keeps looking for ways off the island, and he keeps running into dead ends. And he kind of inspires the hyena to self-explore after the cat or whatever.
Now, see, I have a major issue with that because the major thing is if they were going to go ahead and put in basically a chip, a device, right? Why would they not surgically graft it to this person's spine so it would be impossible for someone to just remove?
I don't think they knew.
It's a plot contrivance. I understand that. But still, I'm thinking, hey, if you're smart enough to realize that, hey, it's possible for it to just be removed with somebody's fingers, they could just rip it out of themselves.
Yeah, well, it is very hard to have a coherent plot line when you're literally writing the script as the movie goes on.
No, like keep going, yeah.
Yeah. And you have a lot of pressures to actually wrap up, finish everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about budget.
Finish everything, budget, having to deal with not only Brando, which is one thing, but Brando and Kilmer.
That was one. Oh, sorry. One other side note is another aside. Ugh.
Go ahead.
Again, this movie, this podcast is a clusterfuck because of this movie is such a clusterfuck. But again, the original budget was signed on for $8 million, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the overall budget was at the end?
No idea.
$40 million.
Jesus Christ. I think it only made like 16 million.
It made 26 worldwide. Worldwide. Domestic,
Yikes.
16. That's abysmal. I mean, even in the 90s, that's bad.
I think we mentioned Bob Shea when we talked about The Lord of the Rings. And by the time they went in and actually greenlit Lord of the Rings, isn't too far off from the actual exit of this movie, right?
The thing that was in between, the thing that really saved him was one film.
Which one?
A horror film that was huge.
Freddy?
No.
Which one?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Scream?
Yeah.
You know what? When I think about it, we've covered a whole bunch of New Line Cinema movies.
Yeah, we have. Because they made a lot of movies in the 90s.
Yeah, it was let's just say New Line Cinema was really close to shutting down a whole bunch of times. Yeah.
Same with Miramax. Miramax went through the same rigmarole, and had it not been for the massive influx of Tarantino money in the early 90s, oh boy, they would have been.
Yeah, there would have been completely shut out. Yeah. Right. I'm actually thinking about wrapping things up. But before we wrap things up, okay, we will play our second game of the night, which everybody probably forgot by now. It is called Screen Fighter.
Round 1, fight.
Screen Fighter is where we take two movies, pit them together, and see which one is the best one. If there's no discernible difference between the two, both of them are good, both of them are bad, we fall into our criteria, which is Saturday evening, Friday evening, out with the boys, out with the girls, out with their significant other. Two movies in a vacuum. Which one will we pop in? Chat participation is most welcome, and we start with a Val Kilmer movie. The Saint or A Time to Kill. This is a movie Val Kilmer made after Dr. Moreau and did not do well either.
You know, that's a really very interesting Japanese poster for A Time to Kill. That's as much as we've really shit on Val Kilmer, I do believe The Saint is probably one of his best films. And I think Elizabeth Shue is actually really good at it too. It's my second favorite Elizabeth Shue film. You know the other one.
Yeah, we covered it. Yeah. Karate Kid, of course. No, just kidding. That's my favorite Elizabeth Shue movie, even though she doesn't get naked in it.
Well, you can go wax off on that opinion.
Well, there's a whole bunch of Elizabeth Shue movies that I like before this one. And not because she gets naked in them. I would go with A Time to Kill. It's just I don't like The Saint. And the only movie I kind of like Val Kilmer in is Top Gun. And he plays a dick in it too. I don't like
method acting. Nah, that's his Val being Val.
I really dislike the Val Kilmer Batman. Like he's, if not the least favorite one, he's down there on the list.
I would say he's the second worst Batman.
Probably after Clooney.
Yeah, exactly. That bingo. Read my mind there.
No, it's an easy one. Chad didn't say anything.
Paul says
Paul
Saint.
says he has seen
Saint.
the not.
So
insane.
hey, we'll
Whatever.
take that as an opinion.
Sorry. Fletch or the
original
longest yard. Go ahead.
Fletch Lives, man.
No, this is Fletch. Fletch Lives is the second one.
I'm still making the commentary joke there.
Fine. I actually did watch The Longest Yard, and it's not recently, but it's in recent years because I've only seen the remake, and I knew it was a remake. I don't like either of them. Fletch is fucking great. It is the quintessential Chevy Chase movie.
Yeah.
I know Paul. Here it is. Literally, I knew he would pick The Longest Yard.
The original Longest Yard is good. It is definitely better than the remake, but
oh yeah, oh, for sure, hands down, for sure. What's next? Gimme.
Come on, spin to win. Come
on. All right, Hot Fuzz.
Oh, fuck you.
Godfather Part 2. 2 movies we've covered.
2 actually fantastic films, too.
It's so good because by the time we reach like podcast number 1,000, maybe, I don't know if it'll have that happen, we're going to cover so many movies. Every single time we're going to have we're going to
be like, oh, yeah. You haven't covered that 5 years ago.
Exactly. Right. The Godfather Part 2 or Hot Fuzz.
You already know my opinion on this.
I don't.
It's actually it's my favorite of the Cornetto trilogies. It's one of my favorite comedies of all time. It's given the criteria that we have where any time of day can turn it on and watch it. Hot Fuzz. The better film is obviously The Godfather Part 2, but I would rather watch Hot Fuzz.
I wholeheartedly agree. If the cinephile in me can never choose Hot Fuzz because The Godfather Part 2 is...
I know.
I know there's a divide between this, but I particularly like Godfather Part 2 as opposed to Godfather. Okay?
Godfather Part 2. No. There's no debate about it. The Godfather Part 2 is the better of the trilogy.
I'm on the side of Godfather Part 2 being the better one. There is an argument. But if the choice is between these 2 films, I would probably watch Hot Fuzz. So
I've got to go with the guy treated the game. That's
all right. Prom Night or Time Bandits?
You've never seen Prom Night.
I've not seen Prom Night.
Can guarantee that.
No, I haven't.
Time Bandits, another movie we covered.
Okay, 2 movies I have seen, even though Carrie is a horror film.
You start this one.
Easy. Carrie. It's first of all, it's a classic. You should watch it as anybody who likes movies. Even if you didn't like it at the end of it, you should watch it because there's a ton of movies that were done after Carrie, inspired by Carrie, inspired by how she like the whole bullying thing before it got all fucking crazy and supernatural. It has elements in there that were carried on into other teen-based movies, specifically high school-based movies that were not supernatural or any thriller or anything. I would say The Heathers, heavily inspired by Carrie, just by what she went through. Time Bandits, I didn't like it before we covered it. I don't like it after we covered it.
Yeah.
It's not that it's... Again, it's not that it's bad movie or not well made. I just don't like the story in it. Let's just say that. Much rather watch Carrie.
First and foremost, that is a phenomenal fucking poster.
The Carrie poster? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, God, perfect. Well, then also the Time Bandits poster actually fits more of the Monty Python theme, which was what they were trying to go for originally, too.
Yep.
But anyway.
And this is like a classic Terry Gilliam piece, I would
Piece
say.
artwork,
right?
yeah.
And artwork.
I would have to go with Carrie just because also, you know me, I'm
Stephen
probably
King.
one of the biggest Stephen King fans you'll ever meet.
Yes. Yeah, I know. You thought I would say Time Bandits?
No, I just wanted to hear your opinion.
Okay. I have not seen True Stories, one of the few 80s movies I probably haven't seen.
It's a fun movie.
Come on. Give it to me. Oh,
This is a movie I'm gonna have to miss too. Oh,
don't say that. And Snatch, easy.
Snatch, yeah.
I've never seen that particular poster, even if it is a poster. All right. Camp or Crash? I have seen Camp.
I don't think I've seen Camp.
You haven't seen Camp? I'll switch. It's more like band camp, but yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Or Crash. First off,
Which slog of a movie do you want to go through?
I don't like any of these movies.
No, both of these movies, like, I mean, I get the concept of Crash and how it's supposed to be this social narrative, but that movie, Crash, was boring. U571, oh my god, want to talk about a real boring fucking movie.
Yeah, and it was. Have you seen the trailer for U571?
Yeah, complete fucking misnomer. Like bait and switch. Complete.
Yeah, the trailer like kept.
It makes it look like an action
part.
film.
Yeah. Kept all the thrilling parts and left out all the fucking boredom in the middle of it. Paul said it. They're both way too long, both of them. I would say haven't seen both just to get them off.
We're doing a reroll. Let's reroll this.
I'm not gonna do a reroll. I'm gonna press U571 because I would rather not slash my wrists again.
Fair enough.
Okay,
now this is a fun one.
Let me know what you think.
Okay. It depends on what mood I'm in. If I want to watch a movie that's campy and probably one of the dumbest fucking films ever made, I would watch Van Helsing.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I know where you're.
If I want to watch a comedy that's also really dumb but has characters that are kind of endearing, Role Models. For me personally, I'm gonna have to go with Role Models just because of the LARP bit at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah,
is way too fucking fun, and you'll have fun every single time you watch it.
It's dumb. You have to admit it's dumb.
It's dumb. It's dumb. But to Paul's point, the fight with Dracula when all of a sudden he turns into a werewolf, huh? Okay.
Van Helsing was Twilight and Underworld together, and it made no sense. Once you decouple that thing, because what's her face is in this as I don't know, she's like a gypsy or something.
Shit,
what's
her face?
Her name? Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah.
Van Helsing, but she's also in Underworld.
Yeah.
Right? If you decouple Twilight and Underworld, or in couple, you get Van Helsing. But if you decouple them, it makes for two. Let's just say they're successful franchises. I don't like any of them, but at least they're not Van Helsing. I would say that Sean William Scott, the poor guy, cannot catch a break of being Stifler in any other movie.
No, because like he basically was just a grown up. Well, not
a
really
grown up version of Stifler without
the
name. But yeah, I would watch Role Models.
Role Models is just, honestly, if you haven't seen it, it's actually a fun movie.
Oh, dude, that's a movie that I haven't seen in a long time.
Three Fugitives. Wow.
Three Fugitives or Kung Fu Panda.
I would have to go Three Fugitives. Just because I've seen, like, don't get me wrong, I like Jack Black. I do. But his shtick gets really old really fast.
I agree. I agree. Three Fugitives is not the best body, but it's supposed to be a buddy cop movie, but it's really not. I would watch Three Fugitives. It's not the best movie, but I don't like Kung Fu Panda.
Nah.
Nah. I haven't seen Pokemon the first movie. Sorry. All right. Is it easy?
Yeah, that one's too fucking easy. That's a good Japanese version of Post and Platoon as well.
I know. All right. Cool.
This is also a very, very easy one.
Last one. This is the last one. Big Fish or Boys in the Hood?
Because the Boys in the Hood is always hard. I'm talking that trash and pull your car.
Easy.
Knowing nothing to laugh but to be legit. Don't quote me, boy.
The other
I
one
ain't
is
said shit.
the other coupling I have in front of me is also easy. It's Green Lantern or the Mighty Ducks. It's easy. The Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
Green Lantern is
Come on, V formation, bro.
Oh my god. All right. Let's do a quick sum up of the movie and get the hell out of here and transfer everybody to Pop Culture Minefield. Right, to sum up the movie, if you just watch the movie, in my opinion, if you just watch the movie The Island of Dr. Moreau, it has some merit in terms of what they were trying to go for. They just didn't hit the mark. If you know anything about movie making or storytelling, you can tell a lot of things are missing, but you can't really put your finger on it. How come they switch so? It takes a while to warm up, and then it actually jumps through the story,
Yeah.
right? And it's a bit jolting when it comes to like the storytelling itself. David Thewlis completely carries this movie on his back. Poor guy. I'm glad later on he just joined the Harry Potter franchise and got paid for it.
Yes.
I like the actor. Like David Thewlis has got like a lot going for him, and this is one of his first kind of big Hollywood roles, I think.
Yes, I was gonna say one of the big scenes too for him is the first interaction with the radio where he's trying to fix it himself, where you could actually the frustration was palpable from the character, and you don't really know, like, given what we know about the behind what happened. Is the frustration method acting, or was it just the frustration with him having to be on set and deal with these assholes?
Yeah, and it's really strange. I think one of the biggest mistakes that Stanley originally did was getting Brando on board. Like, he was the one that told New Line Cinema, it's like, who's your top rated casting for Dr. Moreau, and he said Brando, and New Line Cinema just got him for him. I think that's a big mistake.
I think that was the biggest mistake. What they could have done at the time, instead of Brando, imagine any other major famous actor at the time.
He had to be old. I think Anthony Hopkins would have been great in this.
Hopkins? Could you imagine Donald Sutherland?
Donald Sutherland would have been great. The late great Donald Sutherland.
Have them on there, then they could have kept Bruce and James Woods.
Yeah, because if they would have started when they were supposed to start, even if Bruce was going through the divorce at the time, it would have been postponed a little bit. Because again, we said it, the shoot was supposed to be about 8 weeks. And, given the original version, which was supposed to be like a dark satire, even Bruce's character's like workload would have been less than David Thewlis's actual work on the set, which is all right, I guess. Overall, Stanley's vision was not manifested at all.
No.
And given the fact that he worked for about 4 years on getting it ready to actually go to New Line Cinema, and it all came literally crumbling in his face, I feel bad for him, but, and shit happens in Hollywood.
I agree. I would say knowing the context of everything that happened with the film, I think it's fun now that, especially if you were to listen to this podcast or watch any of the previous documentaries or read anything about how the film was made, then watch the movie and then go, oh, now I see how they messed up.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, I see it. I see it. Hold on. The fact that the whole movie, I don't know how they even got it done after everything that I've read, because I know it was a disaster zone. He literally set a new record of being a full-on disaster, and the old record was set by a movie that we're going to cover at the end of the month, which,
yes,
you know.
No,
All right. Before we leave and give an announcement, this is from Rumble Noble Games. Hey, Mephisto, I really enjoyed the last Verhoeven Fest. Thank you, dude. Thank you. If you enjoyed the Verhoeven Fest, take a look at the entire list, or either on Rumble. They don't have any playlist, but you go on YouTube. There's a full playlist. If you don't like any of the movies we've covered, there's bound to have one or two or three.
There are 3 or 4 more Verhoeven films that we've covered in the past. So.
And I will add one more thing. You will go back in time and you'll probably not have the same pace that we usually do. That's just because of experience and how the number of times that we did it. So I hope, but the information that we talked about was solid, was real solid. So take a look. Maybe you'll find 1, 2, or even 10 that you like. That they're all there as a standalone. Okay. Maybe we'll revisit some, but the list is so.
Trying to revisit it. We have a list that's way too long already.
Yeah, the list is way too long. We're gonna have to like go in through like over mode for that. But yeah. All right. Next week, a whole other rigmarole of troubles, because it's actually a movie that came up a number of times during a number of the shows.
We've talked about it multiple times, and I kept saying, "Man, this movie had it was such a fucking nightmare for them to make it," and I can't wait to talk about it.
And it's so crazy.
And now we're finally going to.
It's literally the movie that kind of inspired this entire month.
Yep.
It is called Super Mario Brothers with Anthony Hopkins and John Leguizamo. I don't even remember the name.
Anthony Hopkins? Did you just say that?
Did I say Bob Hoskins?
Hoskins. Come on, man. Come on. I was going to say, like, no. Hannibal Lecter was not Mario.
I'm not even listening. I'm not listening to you. Right. Sorry. Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, and of course, the immortal, not immortal, but he's dead. Dennis Hopper.
Look at me. I'm Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet. Name that
movie is so bad. That movie is so bad on itself. And to know what I know about the backstage, holy
shit. Yeah.
Shit.
It's crazy.
Right. So please do us a favor. Go out and watch Super Mario Brothers from 1993 this week and come back to us next Saturday, and we're going to talk about it. And
with some special guests who actually really love the film.
Yeah. Our special guests, if they can make it, both actually love the movie. So it's going to create a nice little debate for us to start talking about. It's Tom Connors and Andre from Midnight's Edge. Again, it's a bit tentative there because of scheduling issues, all that good stuff. Hopefully they'll be there. They'll be here. But if not, we're going to discuss this crazy film. And until then, ladies and gentlemen, hope is a good thing, maybe even the best of things, and no good thing ever dies. We'll see you next week. You're still here? It's over. Go home.